Hello everyone and welcome back to your brand new video. Today we're here in the hills of Salzburg, just east of Salzburg actually, for the Salzburg ring. Today's video is all about this wonderful track that the 500 Grand Prix circuit went to in the 80s and 90s. And we're here aboard this Cause 500 NSR from 1992 and the full Rothmans Mickey Doohan livery. And this track is just something else. We're here, of course, GB Bikes in VR. We're going to just do a few laps and show off how amazing this track is. Doing about 180 miles an hour at this point here. Back 2 gears at the apex of this corner with your knee on the ground, on the grass in my case. You're doing about 125 miles an hour. And then you go into this last corners here, which, to be honest, on any other track in the world this would feel pretty fast, but this feels bloody Mickey Mouse after the first and second sectors of this track. If you have ridden these bikes before, the Cause 500 mod, you'll know they're very peaky. They're very much have an extreme power band, just like the 500s did back in the mid-90s. So we get right in behind the bubble, 6th gear, 187 miles an hour, just as we got on the brakes there. Can we stop it for the first chicane? The chicane is actually technically wrong for what these bikes would have raced. The ones they would have raced, I'll flash on the screen now, was a lot more fast and flowing. The chicane we have there is off the modern day circuit, which is a lot more intrusive, is the word I'd say. Very much slows you down. As soon as you get out of the very fast turn 2 or 3, you're just flat all the way up this hill. Can I imagine what it would have been like all them years ago to be up in them grassy banks there watching the likes of Schwantz, Doohan, Rainey all going battle here in Austria. Austria, they produce some unbelievable circuits over the years, and this is probably the crown jewel for me, Salzburg's ring. It's not really used much these days anymore. It's definitely not used anything bike racing from what I could tell. I think there's some GT racing that still goes on around here, but in terms of two-wheel action, since the 500 stopped going there, there's not much use for this place, but my god is it fun on a bike. I don't think we're stopping this one. Oh, very hard to get through there, and then you get out here, give it full taps, bike wants to wheelie, and down into the trees. It feels like you're going, look at the scenery this place. You know I do love a good track, some trees. Cabin in the woods there, wonder what's going on in there. And then you begin to cruise up the hill, 6th gear. At this point we're doing about 160, 170, 180 around here. As you go through here, the revs climb up, you're doing about 185. And then you go back, like I said, 2 gears, and you just tip it in. Imagine the atmosphere in this corner on lap 1 of the 500 Grand Prix. And then it's really, really easy to get this one wrong, because you actually get pulled in because it doesn't look that tight, and you get to the mid corner, it's so narrow, or not narrow but tight. And in this one here you really have to get the bike over, and your brain actually gets accustomed to the speed of the first part of the track. So this here feels actually really awkward, feels clumpy, but it's a great piece of tarmac. And out we come again. Look at the mountains in the distance under the Rebel Bridge, and another lap is complete. In Saturday's qualifying, you could expect lap times, average speeds of nearly 120 miles an hour in the mid to late 90s and 80s. Outrageous figures, really. It just shows the speed you got up here and how long you kind of kept the bike a full chat. If you've never seen any races from the Salzburg ring, I would recommend go check them out. There's some on the YouTubes. There's some very good clips of the races, and you'll see what I mean about the first chicane not being anywhere near as tight. But the racing was great, because it's so fast. It's like Phillip Island on steroids. But of course, a track like this is notorious for a lot of reasons. It was ridiculously unsafe. Even for the mid-80s, this place was known as one of the most dangerous circuits in the world. Mick Doohan famously said that turn 789, the section that's over in that part of the track over there, the very fast part, is one of the greatest pieces of racetrack ever built, and his personal all-time favourite. He says there's nothing kind of as good as that, riding a bike really, and that's what it's all about, racing your arch enemies and the best in the world, on the best machinery in the world around there. And yeah, he's pretty good around here, was old Mick. It was one of the tracks that was favoured by a lot of riders, but a lot of riders were very much concerned by that stuff there, the arm cause. They give it a little wave. It doesn't take a whole lot to go wrong, and if you're talking about late 80s, things did fail, bikes did seize, tyres did blow out, stuff did just happen. We're all a bit too probably desensitized in today's world that you don't really see anyone get a puncture, but just look there, there's just no room for a mistake, any margin. You have a little moment on the change direction here, you have a little sandpit there, and then you have a pretty hard hill with an Armco barrier at the end. There's trees there, it's not out of the realm of possibility. A big crash could send you up into them trees in the rock gardens there. And even this last kind of sector here where you really get to speed down, like, it's, again, you could quite easily get yourself up into them barriers there. It's I can imagine what up in that hill there was like back in the 80s to watch this track. It's pretty special to race around it. Kind of gets me thinking I should probably try and get some classic GPB events going really. I can imagine what a full grid of maniacs racing around here would be. Oh, so we light the NSR up on the exit. I love the start finish trick because you're absolutely flat sick at 6th gear, and you have to brake just before you see brake markers, because if you try and brake there you ain't stopping it with the modern day chicane. As we bunny hop the chicane, that's definitely not the way to do it. And then come out of here, power band kicks in, she starts to get a bit flighty. And who's the latest of the breakers down here, touching the white line. So much lovely natural cambers to this racetrack. Bike really hooks in here, you can get on the power so early, spin it out all the way out, even touching a bit of grass there. I wouldn't recommend that in the 80s. And already we're in 6th gear and it's just pinned. You just hold on to this 500 and hope it doesn't go bang in the middle of this straight here. Even from a young child, I remember watching back races, place knowing it was a bit special just because they came through the hills. But again, look, we've made a small mistake and lights out. I find it very interesting going back and playing these tracks on these bikes to see what the sport I follow so intently these days was once upon a time. Fortunately, it was well before my time when they actually raced there, so I never got to see it live. But just to see that they used race on these circuits that, in modern terms, you'd never see anything here. Even the pit entry scares me at how tight it is, and the pit exit bridge is straight out onto a straight where there's people passing at definitely 170 miles an hour at the pit exit. Oh, this NSR is not liking the turn 1 braking zone. Bunny off the curb and just spin it out there. It's getting flighty. I'll really give it a push lap here and see what we can do. This is such an enjoyable combination. You can see why Mick doing a lot of riders love this place, but my god, would it scare you trying to maximise speed around here and trying to do this for 40 minutes. And Kevin Swans just to your right there, pushed you along, wind rainy 2 seconds up the road. Can you imagine the sort of sensations the riders would have had back in the 80s trying to do this. Again, you're just so physical. Even in VR here for me, of course, it's not anywhere near as physical, but it's even on a controller, you have to really fight the bike to get the direction change at such a high speed. And into this last couple of corners again, you really run it and how it gets tighter. Small bit of rear brake, run it wide, pick it up, and these 502 strokes just teleport you to the next corner, so much so that we've missed that one. Nearly go across the curb, keep the bike in the power band or else she will bite. See there, triple clamps getting a bit skatey, and then fire it out of this last corner. Look at that pit entry. Mad. Oh, I could ride around here all day. It is so enjoyable. But I think we're going to leave it there. It's another kind of historical track we visited in GP bikes. It's something I love doing, going back. We've done Salzburg ring now, we've done the old Red Bull ring, the Österreicher ring. There's many more tracks that I want to get to at some point. But let me know in a comment down below if there's any tracks in GP bikes you'd love to see me go around and kind of do a bit of historical deep dive in, whether it be on a 500 or even like Welcome with the 990s or something. I do get a lot of enjoyment in going back and trying to relive what it would have been at the time. But yeah, we're going to end it there. Hope you have enjoyed. It's been a great fun day again. Just been a few laps on this kind of all singing, all dancing. Because I suppose these were just before the Honda really got into its stride in Grand Prix in 92 was when Mick Doohan really kind of took over from 95 onwards and really went on a run. And then we had the Rossi years as well not long after, so Honda at this point 92 were just starting to build something and build a dynasty of kind of running every other manufacturer out of the sport for 10 years really. But that's enough anyway from today. Maybe someday we'll just visit Honda and themselves and maybe do a few laps on this, the V5 and a few others. But that's all for today. Hope you have enjoyed, guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I shall see you in the future with another GP Bikes video. Thanks for watching. Slán go fóill, Búca Lee.